I have a sewing machine for sale, so I'm going to make this YouTube video about her. And first I'm probably going to put it on Craigslist and then maybe on eBay if she doesn't sell locally. But this is the first of 3 editions of the 78 class machines. And not many of them were made, and this one in particular, from the 300 that were made when she left the Singer Sewing Machine Factory in Elizabeth, New Jersey, was a early walking foot machine. She does not have a lower feed, only an upper feed. So I'm going to make some close-ups and sew with her so you can see what she does. She's a very unusual crossover machine that preceded the 111 class machines that had a lower feed. So her serial number is G7253229, and she is one of only 300 that were made and left the factory August 5th, 1919. So she's 5 years shy of being 100 years old. Very unusual machine. So I'm going to go to another shot and explain a few things to you about her and let you know how much I'm looking to get for her. And I'm making this video, by the way, on September 12th, 2014. So I will leave the video up even after I sell her. But again, she is a very unusual machine, and I'll explain why when I do the close-ups. So hang on in there, and we'll be right back after this brief pause. Okay, we're back, and here is the underside of the machine. So what I'm going to do is point out a few things to you about her that makes her unique. First of all, this big hand wheel that you saw in the overview is driving a crank on the upper shaft running out to the sewing foot, mechanisms. And I've got a scissor right here as a pointer. So the crank that's up on top, which is really hard to see, but trust me, if I sell this on Craigslist and you come over together, I'll show it to you. Drives, let me roll her over here for you, drives this this foot on the bottom, and it still has some suede in her, so she's still sewing while I'm doing this. But she's all oiled up, cleaned up. When I got her, she was very dry, so she's running really fast and smooth right now, as you'll see later. But all there is a crank up on top driving this main shaft running over to the hook. She has a foot lifter, which of course you need the bottom mechanism to drive, but it's active and the return spring is in here. And the hook on this machine is a class 15 hook, which is basically the same hook, or is the same hook, not basically, but is the same hook in a home sewing machine. The difference is that this one is very tough and all metal, and she uses class 15 bobbins. Here they are. When you have a home sewing machine, you'll recognize these bobbins right off the bat. So it's an oscillating hook on this sewing machine. Now, I have heavier thread in her right now that I sewed the suede that's in there right now with for contrast. I used red on a dark brown so you could see the stitch lengths. She will sew 4 stitches per inch, which is a long stitch. These were designed for making boat sails, repairing boat sails, heavy canvas, and of course doing piping. I have 2 feet for her. I have a regular standard, just move it along sewing foot, and I have a 7/32 diameter welting foot, which is right here. Now the way they work, or this machine works, is that the feet, I'm going to have to put this on a different background, the center foot has teeth on the bottom, the outer one does not. And this is not going to show up well here, so I'll do this on a different background. So The oil pan, okay, is down here for the other sewing machine that I usually have in this power stand, and she's on the floor, a 96-107. If you are an industrial sewer and you have a power stand for a standard 18 3/4 inch by 7 wide foot, I think it's 18 3/4, but whatever the standard industrial sewing machine bed size is, and it's standard throughout them all, you can get this machine and drop her right in here. That's about it for this right here. So I'm going to reset the shot and show you how she sews. So hang on, be right back. Okay, we are back. Now, here's the sewing foot. And just to give you an idea of what this welting foot looks like, because I couldn't show it to you on the other shot. This is a 7/32 welting foot setup. And these are original Singer parts. And there you go. You can, let me maintain the focus. You can see the teeth that are on the bottom of this foot. And this is the center foot. Okay, so there's the hole right there where the needle goes through. This is the outer foot, which makes for the walking foot sewing feed system. Put them together, and there they are. Get the light on them. There they are. The foot setup I have in here, I just got. It's an aftermarket set, but I was very lucky to find it. I didn't get it on eBay. I got it from an industrial sewing machine place in Toledo, Ohio, Toledo Sewing Machines. And just to show you how much these two parts cost right here, that's not my handwriting, that was his. Came right out of his parts drawer. $48. Standard canvas foot setup for the 78 one. So there you go. I have 100 needles for her. They are class 16.99, and these are number 16 opening, and I have 138 thread in here, not 69, normal upholstery, but this is heavy thread. This is red 138 bonded nylon thread. Let me get this take-up lever back up on top. There we go. Alright. Now, as I was saying before, she has no lower feed. If you have ever seen a true walking foot machine, let me see if I can get any closer. There we go. Get as close as I possibly can zoom to. There you go. These are the original parts, the slide plate and the needle plate. And it's been beat up by needles in the past, but the opening is just fine. And the walking foot action on this, let me roll some stitches for you rather than run them with the motor. Okay. The walking foot action on this is as such. Okay, put her down, bring your tails back to the rear, and there she goes. As simple as pie. Right now, I have her set on the longest stitch she can sew, which is about 4 inches per inch. And this piece right here that I already sewed, making sure everything was working properly. Okay, let me zoom back out for a minute. Okay, there it is right there. Okay, let me put this tape measure on here for you. Okay, she sews so well that they're going right to one to the other. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4 stitches per inch. Right there. Just like that. Okay, all the way down to half or even less than that per inch. 8, 9, 10 stitches per inch. Okay. Alright, let me tilt up a moment and show you her stitch length regulator, which is right behind. Let me loosen this up a little bit too. There it is. That's the back of it. This is the back of the stitch length regulator. There's a dial over here, and you just run her up and down. I got to get the needle out of here so I can move it. There we go. See? All you do is just move this up and down. Okay? And that's your stitch length regulator. It couldn't be more simple and more direct. I'm going to put her on the middle stitch, and then I'm going to come back down here, bring it back over, loosen up this tripod a little bit, okay, and tighten this up, and zoom out a little bit, okay, there we go. You can also see that she needs a bed paint job, which is a no-brainer. You can grind off all this loose paint here, or even chip it off, and then get all the superficial rust off of her, and you can hand paint her with Rust-Oleum primer and then black. So here we go. I've got her on single thickness right now, and by the way, this has a 3/8 inch lift. So that means she will do belts and heavy suede and upholstery. There we go. And you're hearing the motor humming. That's not the machine. The machine is just clicking away. So this is single length. You spin her around. You can see that she is stitching perfectly through one layer of heavy suede. Just like that. So now I'm going to bump things up a little bit. Take these tails off of here. Okay. And I'm going to get her back up out of the material like that. Down. Okay. And we're going to go through 3 layers of the same stuff. And if any of you have ever tried to sew heavy suede on anything other than a powerful machine that has a lot of punching power with the right size needles and thread, you know what happens. Things hang up and they will not sew. So now I have 3. Actually, I could probably do 4. Here we go. Let's get 4 in here. Okay. Did I get a stitch yet? No, I didn't. Okay. So, here's 4. Just like that. And down she goes. When you can raise and lower a foot on top of the of your work, your goods, as it's called in the business, these are the goods, and you can put her down like that, that means she will sew because the needle can get down to the hook. And I'll show you the hook real close up a little bit later on. But right now we're going to set the needle. Okay, we don't have the tails because there's sewn material underneath. And you're going to hear them. Here she goes, right here. Just like that. Boom. Turn her around. Come back. And look how she sews. This is a basic upholstery machine. And the fact that she's doing this all on needle feed with no underfeed is quite remarkable. And again, she preceded the full compound feed that was on the 111 W class machines. All the W machines, by the way, the records were lost for them. So when you try to look up a serial number on them, you can't find them, because all their serial numbers begin with W, and they lost those records. So there it is. Now I'm going to take the needle out of work, or the goods, and bring her over to the top. And I'm going to move the stitch length wheel, or adjuster, back to the maximum full, the longest stitch. Here we go. Okay, let's spin her around. Get the light on it. Let's get this over there under the light. Sorry for all the camera movement. So there we go. Bottom and top, absolutely the same. Perfect. Alright. So the plate over on the side says 78.1. I told you her serial number. And the threading pattern is remarkably simple. See, there's the upper thread controller, which when you look at this machine from the distance, you wouldn't even know that it was a walking foot machine. It looks just like a drop feed or presser foot machine. So let me zoom back as much as I can and show you. Okay, there's the thread coming down through there. There's going around through the unwinder right here, down through around here. Okay, on the thread tension discs and the spring, up to the take-up lever, down through this guide. Then there's a deep slot in here that directs the thread down toward the one little guide that's right here on the foot. And let me zoom back down. Okay. It's coming. Black things don't show up well on video. There it goes. It's coming through, down through here, and into the work, or the goods. So let me tilt her back up again, and I'll show you a better angle on the sewing foot, just so you'll see. But this is one remarkable sewing machine. Okay. I want $500 for her, plus probably about $40 in shipping, or maybe more. If I'm dealing with somebody locally in the Raleigh, Durham, North Carolina area, then maybe we can negotiate. Or I'll put her on eBay and have a make offer, that kind of thing. But I'm going to start her out at $500 because she's rare and she sews absolutely beautifully. I just cut this off, and there it is. It's hard to tell which is the top and which is the bottom on this machine. What you can see is that she barely puts any marks on the goods. This is the top again, and this is so tightly compressed. You'd have trouble even with a seam ripper getting this thing apart. Okay. So I'm going to tilt the machine back and set up another shot. So hang on for a sec. Okay. What I wanted to show you in this shot was her very solid hook race and hook system and the bobbins. Now, bobbin case. Okay, so we just pull this out. This is the same bobbin case and bobbin that is used in a 3115 with these finger type tabs in here, and all you're doing really is just clicking her back in here again like this with the thread on the left side of that, and she will click right in. You want to hear that sound when you put her back in. But the oscillating bobbin cases on home machines and the hook races are all like this, but on the 31-15 class machines everything was heavy metal. And things got dumbed down on the home machines when they made them with thinner, lighter metal, and then eventually went to some plastics, and things got really cheap. But if you are interested in this machine, follow up with a phone call or an email if you have any questions when you see the end titles on the video. And I'm going to bring her back down again. And there's a good shot of the sewing hook right there. Right there. Alright, so hang on one more second. Okay, we're back, and I just wanted to show you sewing through a different material. This is 3 layers of real leather upholstery material. This is scraps. I make wallets, little business card cases, and all kinds of things out of these. I put zippers in them. So these little scraps are smaller than the things I make. So that's why I have them. And again, this 138 thread will make a really nice top stitch, putting things together and looking the same on both sides. I have other machines that do the same thing. And I came into this machine as a favor from a friend. So I really don't need her. If I don't sell her and I ever get into a bigger place, then I'll put her on her own table, or I'll just keep her for that. But regardless, she is one hell of a sewing machine. So here we go. Okay. I have a servo motor on her, so I can sew slow, and that's what you're hearing is the motor humming. But she is just sewing so beautifully, it's scary. There we go. Okay, let's look at the bottom. Take her up so I can spin her around a little bit. There's the bottom. Okay. Smooth as glass. So, thanks for watching. Hope you get in touch with me. Again, I'm going to put it on Craigslist, and I'll reference the fact that there's a YouTube video on this Singer 78. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye-bye. The spot